What's up everyone? This is Duana aka Glamazon 1026 and I'm coming back with another wig video. I love wigs. I'm just in a wig mood right now. I just want all the wigs and I love dyeing hair. So I am going to be trying to do the hot water method to get this ginger and chocolate wig today. Okay, so if you want to see how I dyed this wig and constructed this wig and installed this wig, stay tuned. But before we go any further, make sure that you click that subscribe button so that you can be a part of the family and get access to all my content. I'll see you in a few. So this is the hair that we will be dyeing today. There are 3 packs of 18-inch bundles and then a 16-inch frontal. I'm not sure what the name of the company is, but I'll leave it below. So that first one you saw was the bundle straight out the package, and this one is after I brushed it out because I wanted to see what the curl pattern looked like. Here we're getting up close and personal with the frontal, and these are the 2 shades of the Adore dye that I will be using, Cinnamon and Cajun Spice. I have 2 bottles of each. So here is that brushed out bundle. I just wet it so that you can see what it looks like as it reverts. This is some hot water straight from my kettle. I'm going to pour that into a bowl, spray down the frontal with some Got2b sprayed and let that sit so that it won't get any dye on the closure. I'm going to empty 1 bottle of the Cajun Spice because it's brighter than the cinnamon and mix it up with this plastic whisk and then begin to dip the hair into the hot water. And it really takes the color very nicely. One thing I should have done was open the bundle from the coil so that it could get more evenly distributed into the water so that the inside won't be lighter than the outside. And I'm just going to do that with all the bundles. And what I realized is that the color seeps from the water into the hair, so I just kept adding dye and then mixing it up. And then I also put water into the dye bottles and shook them up and got all the excess dye out. Y'all know I like to use the last bit of everything, so I do believe this is the last bundle in here. Maybe 2. It might be 2 bundles in there. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave that to sit for a little while, maybe about 5 minutes. And then I'm going to begin to dye the frontal. So this is what I was talking about how the color leaks from the water into the hair. So you see it's much lighter than it was before. So I ended up boiling more water and putting more dye into it. So right now this is super light, whereas the other bundles are pretty dark. So now I'm going in with the cinnamon, and this is going to be our chocolate color, kind of. I mean, it's still fairly red. It still has a red undertone, but it's darker than the Cajun Spice. So I also made a mistake here and put the whole frontal in, and it dyed the closure, the lace, but it's gonna be okay. Since it's kind of a brown, it will match my skin tone, and it's not that big of a deal. It's not like it's blue or purple like the last time. So anyway, I'm taking this brush and I'm brushing it out just to make sure that this gets as much color as it needs. And I'm going to dip the other bundles in there for a little bit and brush them out. And then just go and do that for each of the bundles. So this is what it looks like all dyed. I'm showing you here how the lace is tinted. And that tiny little ball on the side is the shedding. So it really didn't shed that much for it being so manipulated. All right, so now we're going to make the wig. I'm just using this Sharpie to map out my lines that I will be sewing the tracks onto. This is just gonna help with placement. Usually I just go in willy-nilly and just sew them wherever I feel like. But today we are going to do a machine sewn wig. So it's really important to have grid lines. All right, so now I'm going to sew the wefts together. I'm just going to double them in half and give them a stitch so that they'll be stacked on top of each other. I'll have less hair to sew and it will still give me the fullness that I need. And then I'm going to sew those tracks that were stacked onto the wig cap. The easiest way I could tell you to do it is to turn the wig cap inside out and then just sew along the lines. And then when you get to the end, make sure you do a little reverse stitch and cut it off so that it doesn't unravel. And just keep going all the way up. The more hair you put on the wig cap, the harder it's going to be. But just take your time and do it, and you'll have a really nice wig in no time. It's so much simpler than a hand-sewn wig, but I gotta wait till I get better at it so that I could be faster. All right, so now everything is sewn on except the frontal, so I'm just going to hand sew that on. That's why the grid lines are important, so you know where to stop, so that you can sew your frontal on when you're finished. And then after that, I have some extra hair left over, so I'm gonna go in and just sew them wherever I feel I have enough space on the tracks until there's no more hair left, because I want to use all the hair that I paid for in this wig. I just, pin them down and then hand sew those in. So now it's installation time. You're gonna see me with a wig cap on that has been colored with makeup, and then I'm gonna use this lace tint to see if it makes any difference. It really didn't, so I probably won't do that again. And then we're just going to install this wig. I'm looking like Chucky right now, but it's okay. It's gonna be real cute when it's finished. And so now I'm using, I can't remember the name of the glue that I'm using. I got it for like $5 at the beauty supply store. I got a little one because I wanted to try it. I never tried like liquid glue before. So this was an interesting application process for me. But the hair looks pretty good. I really like it. And I got eyebrows on, so I don't look very crazy. All right, so now I'm going to use my Wigman toe edge holder downer. I'm gonna talk to y'all about that in another video. And then we're going to put on some water and just brush this through to, rehydrate this hair, get it to stop looking big and frizzy, define those curls. Use my Felicia Leatherwood to get it looking nice. And then we're going to put some mousse on it to keep the curl pattern looking like that. And I believe that's it. So I'll see you at the end after everything is done. All right, guys, here we go. This is it. Look at it. It's so cute. It's so pretty. This is my first time trying to do the hot water method to dye hair. So if I do this again, what I will do is dip the roots in first so that it soaks up a lot of the color, because a lot of the roots, like as you can see here, the roots are pretty bright and then it gets darker at the end. And I kind of wanted it that way, but I would have liked the roots to pick up a little bit more color. So I think if I do this again, I will flip them upside down and dip the weft first and then dip the end. That way it can be like a dark brown to light brown ombre, if you get what I'm saying, or a darker to lighter ombre rather than a lighter to darker ombre. And actually, I'm not really mad at this. I really like it. There are some places that I feel like I could go in with some more color, like right in here, and I probably will do that later on in the, whenever I feel like it. But so far so good. I really like this. As you saw, like after I put the wig on, I just wet it and I put some mousse in it just to keep it looking like this, because then as it dries, it's going to get bigger. And I kind of just wanted it to be like this for right now. So hopefully it'll stay like this, and I'll just wear it out like in the loose wave, kind of curly, kind of wet look for whenever I wear it. I probably will like try to wand curl this because I wand curl everything. So I'll probably try to wand curl this. Anyway, I think that's all I have. I really liked it. Tell me if you like the machine sewn wig, because that's new. That's something that we haven't done before on this channel. So if you guys want a video, like a full in-depth tutorial on how I sew my wigs on a machine, this is only the second one that I've done, but I'm about to do a couple more. Just let me know, okay? All right, so that's it. I think that's all I have for you. So if you guys like this video, give me a thumbs up down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so that you can be a part of the Glam Fam and know exactly when I upload. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Glamazon1026, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.